right now talking about it. But no, there was a guest on here that dude, every time he moved, like the whole room would move. And I was, it doesn't matter who it was, but I was like,
no
holy
names.
shit.
He's
like,
a giant man.
He kept hitting the table, and like everything was moving. I was like, dude, I thought the fucking mic was gonna come fall off the table.
Is he real big and strong?
He's
or
an
he
intense
just,
fella, bro.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Was it Chris?
No,
Look, he's trying to get the names out.
no, it was not.
I know you're stirring pot today. I can feel it.
No, it wasn't. Well, we got we're back, dude. We're back, and Josh is on here too. But no, like, dude, I haven't seen you in. It's been well. I'm gonna tell you something that is extremely important, and we talked about it already. But this is episode number 200.
That's what I'm talking about. See, look,
200
bicentennial. We in here.
Yeah.
You already know.
I was like, we're gonna close it out, and I told him, I was like, this has to go live. This episode is today is Thursday. This episode airs Friday, tomorrow, so we can make this number 200, sir.
This is our Independence Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is the best way to start it.
Yeah.
See, it's that's way. You know what? I was thinking when I was coming here. I'm like the crazy cousin that you don't see very often, but when you do, it's just like, hey man, it's like old times. As soon as you get up in there.
Yeah, we don't have to like say what's been going on. We just jump into it and figure it out.
No, because I already got something new brewing all the time, anyways.
Yeah.
So
well, you brought us some cool shit too. So tell me about what this is. So you operational support team.
all right, so you guys have seen me since I've been the health promotion guy. Like, eat your broccoli, go to sleep, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So on base, I took over a new team. So my team right now, we lost a clinical psychologist. He went to the special warfare, which is great for him, bad for us. I have a certified strength and conditioning coach, and then I have an active duty physical therapist, and then I am the program manager. So I do everything. So whether it's pain management, if we're scheduling immersions where we're trying to figure out how to do work ergonomics, whether we're trying to mitigate some stress reduction, or if I'm trying to get them some money. So I keep everybody gainfully employed, and I try to tell everybody if I'm there, no matter what it's for, it's always there to help. So I'm always trying to make sure that the people that wear the uniform can get to the places that they need to get to support freedom, if you will. So really and truly, wherever we are is the most at risk. So where we live, there's a problem, and that we need to figure out that problem, whether there's a bunch of knee injuries, whether there's high stress, whether they're not sleeping, it doesn't matter. Wherever we are for that 4 to 8 months, we stay, we fix, continuity plan, and then get somebody to kind of make sure that they're good. And when we leave, and then we move to the next one. So trying to fix it one group at a time. So right now, I don't know, we got 350 people that we care for, and that we keep going. So there's, 5,000 and change. So we got 350 in our immediate care, and then I'm one of one for the whole base. So you serve as like the human performance belly button, where if there's something that can be improved, usually gets funneled to the inbox, and then I say, okay, this person can help, we can help, or we can't help, but here's how we can get some help. So you really are trying to think, how can we conduct this like a professional sports team? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Where, okay, let's say that I am your head performance director, and I got a gang of strength and conditioning coaches and physical therapists and cognitive performance specialists, so like sports psych. I think of it all like that, and I just have a team of 5,000 athletes. So how do I make our sports team have a winning record? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So every place I go, I'm like, all right, we're not doing so good here. We need some big ugly linemen. We need to recruit. We need to make sure that these knee injuries get taken care of, so that way we can go ahead and win the games that we're doing. And for us, games is not games. It's, can we do our part of the mission to make sure that Barksdale is fully functioning and supporting America as a whole?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The mighty eighth.
Hey, you got a little know-how behind you. I like it.
No, it's just because I've done what all have I done for them? I've done a couple like photo projects for Barksdale over the years.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I brought you guys. So
Yeah.
what I was at, so this is a traditional thing. Like I would bring somebody. So when we're going in, depending on where I'm at and depending on what they need. So if they're working outside, then we would be doing, obviously it's really hot. Even now, we had that fake fall that we had. Where you get 2 weeks in
that
ice.
little bullshit. I call it like what would you call that? Blue balls. Blue balls. Blue
Yeah,
falls.
you got
Blue
no-
falls.
yeah,
Blue fall.
Wow, that's
I've
a new
never
one.
heard that before.
Hey,
There you go.
coin it. And so what he just held up is a cooling towel.
Yeah.
So there's certain points on your body that if you have really cold water and you apply that, your fatigue level goes down and you keep
What
on
points are
rolling.
those?
So you got anywhere. So anybody that's in the fighting arena, you know the deal. So if you see them putting ice on the back of their neck, if you see them in any kind of like hot points, where it's armpits, whether it's your groin or like the wrist, where they have like hand cooling, you dunk your hands in cold water. If you have gloves on, you can't dunk your hands,
Right.
but they try to do the next best. So like for your runners, you can easily put your hands in cold water, however long you can stand it. Magically, heart rate goes down, fatigue goes down, and you can get back to work.
Yeah.
So that will help you to keep that on the back of your neck, or like if you had a bunch of ice water, you dunk it in there and put it in any of them hot points,
Right.
lower your body temperature.
Yeah.
And then you got sleep mask, which
Bro, I'm excited about this.
these are approved by the most picky people in the entire Air Force that I've ever met. So, and you would never think it because they're the maintainers, the ones that fix the airplanes.
Yeah.
They think everything sucks. I don't care what you give them. They're going to talk trash. They think it's the worst. So out of 7 designs, they picked that one.
Okay.
So it'll never put a line on your face. It's not your Walmart special. So they picked them things. This is soft as ever. It's almost like bra material. It's weird.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yes, I thought it was. I was like, yeah. Little nut brazier or something, man.
And then the last one is because you get hydration plus you got your nutrition need. So depending on who we're talking about, if you're working outside all the time and you don't have any kind of salt, like you don't have any kind of salt solution that you have, any kind of electrolyte solution, you probably should be having some of the either powder or liquid electrolyte. And then we always got water fillers, and that you can fill them. So there's never an excuse that either they can't be hydrated or they're not getting enough of their protein. There's never an excuse. So every time that they give me an excuse, it just gives me another way to say,
Here you go.
got it. So that excuse will never be again. Nope, give me another one. So every excuse, then we find a solution, and magically there's no more solutions. And I say, which one did you apply? And if you didn't apply it, then hey, see this sheet for the 17 that I've already given.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It reminds me of the heavyweights logo.
Yeah.
From is it
Perkins Power.
Perkins, the shirt. I got the
Yeah.
It reminds me of that, bro.
Yeah, man. So it's everywhere that they see that. I should have worn my shirt today because we just got the shirts and stuff. Every time you see the shirt, you should already know that I'm watching something or my team is watching something and we're about to fix something and give you something to fix it. So if I'm there, like Monday, I think I got to run fuel lines for planes. Like it's a simulated thing. We ain't putting fuel lines in planes, but I got to run the fuel lines. I got to push this big thing that's full of fuel. It's like 600 some pounds. Got to load up tires and all the other stuff. And then what you do is you calculate the workload. You calculate how many people that are actually doing that job for that day. You got to calculate how many times a week that you're doing that. And then you formulate a plan saying, hey, this is the amount of workload that you have for this week. Here is the plan that you need to do prior to going out there. And here's what you need to do to unload that spring you just wound up when you get back. And then here's your long-term training plan or your macro cycle for the first 3 months. And then you can go 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. So you can develop a plan if you know what they're doing. Other than that, it's cookie cutter BS and that you're just throwing lunges and presses together and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's kind of like the high school football program.
Yeah. So, and if
Eat a lot, drink creatine, lift heavy weights.
Yeah. So we're breaking it down.
That's it.
We're breaking it down by energy systems.
Right. Yeah.
So if you understand the energy systems, then you can develop a plan that includes certain movements that are going to be crucial to that task. So if you don't have the energy system, but you have the movements, you may be preparing the wrong system, so they're not efficient. If you need football, which is 6 seconds or less, you want what's called the ATP-PC system, which is like that, real fast, real explosive, but you need to be able to repeat it. So there's ways you can load that. So if you're doing 3 sets of 12, it ain't gonna cut it.
Right.
You just won't.
That's why gassers were so beneficial when we were playing football.
Yeah.
You get full pads after a practice and you run 30 gassers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then, like, in the fourth quarter of a game, I mean, I played line and linebacker, so it's like I'm hitting someone every play. I noticed in the fourth quarter, I'm like, I'm just kind of starting to feel like good.
That's
actually.
good. So
Yeah.
they were trying to prepare you for more than what was going to come your way.
Yeah.
So I always like to meet, so whatever the need is, let's say that the activity is 10 seconds. I'd really like you to be able to execute that 10 seconds 40 times.
Yeah.
Right.
And that the 10 seconds is no big deal. So if we have an 800-pound door and you got to push that thing open, close this giant door, 30 times a day.
Yeah.
And that, so what's that? 800 times 3 is 2,400.
Mm-hmm.
So 24,000? 24,000? Something like that.
How many
I don't know.
times
My
a
math
day?
is bad.
30 times a day.
30 times a day, 800 pounds? What
8
is that?
hours.
Was that 240,000?
Yeah.
So 240,000 pounds of work in a day.
Oh, okay. You do
So,
the pounds.
so if you were to do a sled push, then you would have, let's say, a 200-pound sled, and that you did that 200 short pushes. That's the same amount of work for that day.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? It's total
Well,
workload.
that's very interesting that no one ever thinks about any of this shit. And that's your position. And that's important because, first off, how many people are on permanent disability and that are veterans?
Too much.
That because these plans hadn't been in place and they're injured, whether it be in combat or just active duty.
Yeah.
But not only that, like breaking that stuff down and strategically, like looking at everything and saying this is the workload,
Yeah.
and this is the efficient way to do it.
Correct.
Because
So
most people are just like, here's the task, get it done. This is what you're getting paid.
yes. So that's that's why they made our team, is exactly that. How many people are on permanent disability
Yeah, and it costs the government a lot of fucking money. Wait,
to the tune of $900 million.
yes.
So it's probably more than that now.
Yeah.
But I remember when we did our original calculation, that was a lot of money. And so they don't pay us nearly a fraction of that, or nor should they.
Yeah.
But there's ways that you can reduce it. So if you know that 100 pounds is going to break a rubber band, but you can go up to 90 pounds, get them to go to 90, keep touching, and eventually the rubber band is more pliable, you can get more work. That's your work capacity, and that you have less brittle people. So same thing like with your training or your training, doesn't matter, any person's training. So if you look at it over a year, so when I say macro cycle, like the whole big thing, so let's say in a training session you got 100,000 pounds of weight that you moved. So 10 sets of whatever, and
Right.
times the 10 sets. So the set times the weight times the reps is going to equal your total work volume. I know this is real sciencey for the people that are listening, but it might make sense.
Yeah.
So you go sets, reps, weight for the whole session will equal your workload for that day. If you can track it, and each week your workload increases and increases and increases and increases, that's where you get more muscle. That's where you get bigger and faster and stronger, because over time your work capacity improved, because you went from doing 100 pounds for 10 sets of 10. Now at the end of the year you're doing 200 pounds for 10 sets of 10. You're a different person. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Right.
Is to take whatever job it is.
But you're being efficient about it too.
Yeah.
Like, and also like talking about like recovery and then diet.
That's
which
I've been digging real
that's
deep
so
into that.
hard. We have to fucking eat.
I've been getting real deep into
But it's
that.
it's got to be the most addictive thing in the history of humans,
Yeah, it's a
because
drug.
you have to eat.
It's a
about
drug.
food?
It's a great drug.
You have to eat.
Well, yeah, dopamine rush. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but some people get dopamine from food. Some people get it from other things. But like, you have to fucking eat. If you don't eat, you can't live.
Yep.
But yes, there's so many people that, and not only that, then you start eating the bad stuff, and then you crave the bad stuff.
Well, yeah.
I've been getting really deep into that as far as them trusting, and that it takes a minute. Like I had a very high up person come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm 95 pounds down in 12 months." And all I did was say, "Okay, here's your metrics currently. Here is what I need you to do, and don't deviate."
Right.
And they did, I mean, exactly to the T for 11 months and is 95 pounds.
And that's a healthy. I mean, I don't know the weight of this individual, but
He was over 300 pounds. And
And
he's in
what's
his
the
late
height?
50s.
what's the height?
He's tall as me. Oh, yeah. And now he's in his late 50s, and he is absolutely dominating his 22-year-old son.
And he still has he can probably still lose another 50, 60 pounds.
Dude, I watched him do 82 push-ups in a row.
Oh yeah, gangster. Yeah.
Dude, he's rough.
Yeah.
So, like, he's actually can go now.
Yeah.
So, because what you fuel is going to give you what you need, and it'll just keep feeding and feeding and feeding. It's just trusting that first. The trust sucks because you're like, yeah, health guy, got you. I've heard every diet under the sun, and that none of them work.
Well, it's just not, man. I don't know why the fucking answer is there, and I don't know why it's so hard. I don't understand it.
'Cause
I bring
it
this shit up
tastes
all the
so
time.
good.
We've talked about it.
'Cause it tastes
but
so
it does
good.
until it doesn't.
Like
Once it's
gummy
stripped-
worms, jeez Lord.
What?
Yeah, gummy
You like
worms.
gummy
because
worms?
yeah,
What?
my favorite ones are the trolleys. The,
Stop playing around
Trolley,
the 2 for a dollar.
Yeah, I
used to
love
do.
them. Yeah.
Now they're friggin' $2.22 or whatever they are.
like the berry ones.
Dude, my favorite, the Albanese gummy bears, the gourmet ones.
Don't mess around.
Hard.
So I
So
used
I'll
to be
still
a
eat
nut.
4 or 5 of them before a crazy strenuous workout, but
Okay.
I don't just leave them lying around to eat. Like a bag, I'll buy a $12 bag. They're like this big in
Sure.
CVS or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll last. They're in my pantry right now. They will last 2-3 months.
So, but you also have a goal though.
Yeah, I'm using that for like if I can't eat and it's like either like immediate post workout or right before a workout where I can throw it in. It's carbs. You know, you're gonna get an insulin spike, and I'm gonna burn it off. But I'm only consuming 9 of them. You know what I mean?
I think because you have a goal though. So a lot of times what happens is, and this is across the board. It has nothing to do with, you know, aesthetics or, you know, trying to be a bodybuilder. None of this. It's just people in general, and that we're very reactive, and that 9 out of 10 of us do not plan for what is about to happen. They are dealing with what is happening.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
I'm hungry now, so I eat. I'm tired now, so I sleep. It's not, okay, I'm going to train in 24 hours. What do I need to do right now to get me ready for the you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly how I live. Right, how you're talking.
So you have a goal.
But it's taken years to
And it's
develop
hard.
that. Yeah.
It's very hard to plan that too.
And you can in 1 or 2 days will literally take you off the path for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. So and it's not bad that people are in the moment, which is good. It's just at some point, if you plan ahead and just stay within the right and the left, it makes life so much easier. So that's why meal prepping. So you guys have a company, meal prepping.
Yeah.
That's why meal prepping is a cheat sheet to help you get to that 24 hours.
Yeah.
The same thing as like gummy worms can be a cheat sheet. If like I had a guy, he was tired of eating rice. He came another day. He was like, I cannot eat another bite of rice. And I said, don't. What are you even talking about? So don't eat it. He goes, but I'm supposed to be on this plan. Some bodybuilder gave him a plan. And so I said, yeah, but you don't get your bills paid by being a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You get your bills paid because you wear the uniform and you do a great job in doing it. So this dude is big as a house. He's from Africa. So that we already talking a whole different person.
Right.
I think he's from Nigeria. I could be wrong, and I apologize, sir, if I got this wrong. It's either Ghana or Nigeria, but I think it's Nigeria. That dude is a monster. So he's 230 pounds. He's my height. He's probably, I don't know, 15% body fat. His arms, I'm not joking, are this big.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I want to trim down. He used to be 260. This big old giant dude. And he's a football player. And then, so he doesn't want to eat more rice. Traditional African food has rice with like their soups.
Yep.
So he was eating 4 cups of rice at a sitting, which is out of this
That's
world.
insane. That's about 100 carbs.
Dude, it's out of this world.
100 carbs in one, and that's what I consume in one day.
So, and I was like, that's cool. I said, but if you're trying to trim down and not trying to be so big. I said, all right, so now he's down to 1 cup of rice. And he's like, I don't even want that now. So he said, because I'm not eating my African soups. So it didn't even taste good. Like he said, chicken rice. So people don't understand that you can equate a cup of berries, a cup of blueberries with a half a cup of rice.
Yeah.
It's interchangeable, and actually
and actually solidly, like the fiber
is
will burn. It will, that carb's going to burn off quicker than rice would.
Yeah, and it tastes better. To me, it tastes better.
Fuck yeah, dude! Fruit and meat is my go-to.
So
like,
I told him, there is no. I'm sorry about my bag, man.
No, you're good, bro.
That's what I brought your ass stuff in. It's crinkly.
Yeah, you're good.
But I told him, people get so fixed on like the perfect thing that they forget that there's lots of things.
Yeah.
So if you have a plan, just have different options for that plan that fit your stuff. So then there's no guilt. There's no punishment. I didn't get my rice in. Who cares? And that you don't live in a stupid Tupperware for every day of your life. You can go to Buc-ee's and still do fine.
Yeah.
So the other day I went over to the gas station and I said, all right, I need to find 10 items that are going to fit within what we need. That was not hard. I went straight to the gas station and went, okay, cool. Here's some boiled eggs. Here's some carrot sticks and peanut butter. There's 4 different protein bars. There's you got milks, you got berries, you got apples. There's tons of stuff at a gas station, Buc-ee's especially. That brisket sandwich is danger.
So I get that. I just get it by itself.
It's so
I'll
good.
say, give me the brisket portion without the bread. That's what I do, and I get the boiled egg.
Yeah.
If I'm really fucking up, then I get the brisket sandwich.
You get the nuggets.
and the chips.
What? I never had the
hand-cut chips.
Stop playing with
I didn't know that.
Bro, they're hand-cut potato chips.
They're probably really ridiculous.
They're extremely good.
Okay, and I need to try it now.
My wife always gets this.
If you have a fuck-up day, go do that.
I've never had. I don't. I do so much barbecue that I don't like their barbecue. But every time you pass one, you got to stop. So if you have the kids, you got to stop. So give me the same amount you put on the sandwich, brisket, and then I get like some boiled eggs and the wasabi peas. I love fucking wasabi peas, man.
Wasabi peas are good.
I've never had that.
So I don't know if you like spicy stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yes, all right. So you go to the little area where all the snacks are, and it's on the wall, and like there's all these bags of like the trolley gum, the Buc-ee's brand worms and all that.
Sure.
There's wasabi peas, and I mean it's just like I get freeze dried peas with the wasabi like coating over them.
Powder.
Yeah, but it's like coated on them, so they're like green and white.
Oh, that's cool. You clear your sinuses out.
Dude, I love them. That's my road trip fucking goes.
Like
there it is. That and then like whatever energy drink I want that day. You know,
There you go.
That's it.
What are you on right now? What kind of drink?
Energy drink?
Yeah.
So I've been doing.
And I know you probably got sponsored.
I have no sponsors right now.
okay.
I'm a free agent. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been doing Fit Aid because
really?
it uses stevia extract. And because I'm trying to get the fuck completely away from sucralose. So either Fit Aid or Jocko. Right now I'm on Jocko. I use Jocko greens. I use Jocko protein. Jocko protein has 4 ingredients.
Jocko, you hearing this?
Shout out Jocko. Like
Jocko
if he wants to
protein.
sponsor his podcast, like let's fucking go. But I do his energy drinks are decent. They're sweetened with a monk fruit.
Oh, okay.
So with the energy drinks, the issue is always the sweeteners, like, and then whatever weird chemicals are in them.
Well, because they cause an insulin spike, correct?
Correct. It's you're basically getting the same effects from a processed sugar.
That's true.
And it's chemically created. It's created in labs. So like I'm not putting that, even though it says sugar free, it's fucking not. So for me, those are the 2 I'm on right now because I can. I'm about to roll. We're gonna check out some Kill Cliff next. Once I run out of this Jocko, but I'll order like 4 or 5 cases at a time.
Oh.
And I'm kind of picking and choosing what flavors and what brands. And Jocko has the nootropics in it. So that's pretty cool. I've noticed a little difference there. But my thing is I'll consume Jocko's only 100 milligrams of caffeine.
That's true.
And so I'm getting, this is what's fucking weird. And Josh has been here and seen me, so he can probably, if I were running a case study and say, hey, watch me, I'm getting the same amount of energy from a 200 milligram Celsius from a 100 milligram Jocko with far less, bad ingredients.
Sure.
And at the same time, like, it also has nootropics added in it, but there's only 5 ingredients to it.
Maybe that's why. It's like synergistic. So one kind of layers on top of the other.
That's what I'm thinking because it's sustainable. Like I feel like it's time release, but the same thing with Fit Aid. Fit Aid is, I believe, I want to say that 160. I don't know. We'll fact check this later.
Yeah.
But still, same thing. It's used as stevia extract. But the problem with stevia is it's a great substitute for cane, like for processed sugar. If you're going to use like a pure cane sugar, it's great. But stevia is directly related to a lot of pollen allergens. So if you have pollen allergens, then stevia could actually create a some inflammation if you have bad allergies. Well, I have bad. Yes, sir. So I have bad allergies. So I'm looking at, okay, is this great? It has good natural ingredients, but I'm drinking it now, and I'm still kind of stuffy in the morning and stuff. Is this contributing to my allergies? Not to mention we're in ragweed season right now here, and that's horrible. And it's drug out kind of late. So like if you notice anybody their sinus issues the mid-August all the way through September, that's ragweed.
And my son.
That's ragweed. Yep. Well, you can associate stevia directly to that same. They're in similar. I don't know I don't know all the scientific bullshit, but that's another thing. So my goal has been trying to combat inflammation from every single angle. We are drinking a little bit. We'll probably get some information from that, but you got to pick and choose your battles, you know what I mean? But that's where I'm at. Long answer to I should have just said this is the drink, this is what I'm doing.
Well, it kind of puts into context. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Well, I mean, so it makes you think like, don't grab a fucking Bang Energy or Rain Energy or whatever, or Monster. Like, look, they're good, they're tasty, but like if you're actually going to use this as like a supplemental, this is something that I'm using as a stimulant, but also I want to make sure it doesn't combat anything else I'm doing healthy. Like, I feel like that's the best thing to do. Black coffee, of course, is always probably the best way to go. But I can only drink coffee when it starts getting cold.
Sure. Because
when I drink coffee and it's hot, dude, I get hot. Like, for something to do, however that stimuli works within caffeine, like the natural caffeine in coffee, it just, dude, I can't, like, I don't enjoy it.
I sweat all the time.
Me too. I'm sweating right fucking now.
Yeah, I sweat all the time.
Like, it's not even
I had
hot.
a black coffee today. I've been sticking to black coffee and water. And then, like, if I'm, like, really, like, if I get sweated down, I'll drink, like, a Propel or some shit with electrolytes in it, but, like, no sugar in it. That usually makes me feel pretty good. But I've kind of noticed, like, the Alani energy drinks, they have 200 milligrams per can. And I only drink those if I have to drive, like, if I'm driving to do a wedding or if I'm driving to do a music video shoot, like, hours away and I have to drive back the same night. That's the only time I'll drink one of those.
So I never see you drink an energy drink.
Exactly.
But
that's the only time I drink them.
I need to get you some of what I have. I'll bring you a case because Alani's still slam full of sucralose.
Okay, well, either way,
yeah.
When I'm coming home and I don't die.
Yeah, right. No, I agree. Look, I completely get I get it. But at the same time,
I told you it was gonna be good. He was like, hey, but I didn't die.
I mean, like, literally, dude, I'll take a bottle with a twist top and I'll pour that shit in there and then I'll twist it so it stays carbonated and put it in the door. So every time I start feeling a little bit sleepy, I'll pop that bitch and take a swig of it.
Dude, I've never seen him drink an energy drink. Like, it would have.
I don't. That's my point. Like, I reserve it for that time.
Right.
Because if I am tired, all it takes is a 6-ounce cup of black coffee for me.
Yeah.
Well, I keep rolling.
I get the best stimuli from like an espresso. What do you drink? Like, so where you at on energy, like caffeine or whatever?
I've tried there's not one that I've not tried. Not one.
Okay.
Because I have to know, number one, what it tastes like. Number two, what are the airmen taking? Because I got to know.
Yeah.
And then I can advise.
What are they drinking? Like, what's the popular thing right now out there?
Monster's never going anywhere.
Well, I mean, it's a Coca-Cola product.
Does anybody want coffee? I'm gonna get some coffee.
I mean, let's do it. Let's go. You want coffee? Coffee and tequila. Let's go. Just bring a whole pot up here, bro.
Here it is. No. So now there's good research that is coffee and tea. So up to 400 milligrams, it is actually linked to less heart disease.
Dude, that's insane. That's a lot.
It's a lot of like I want to say it wrong. It's like a lot of the polyphenols or like a lot of the extras that are coming out with the coffee, as opposed to just the caffeine. It has nothing to do with the caffeine anhydrous. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the added or the extras with the bean. So with the bean or the leaf. So the green tea, black tea, white tea, or the coffee bean, that's where the health benefits coming through. So up to 400 milligrams, lots and lots of research support that you're doing just fine. Above like 400 to 600, you get a little bit squirrely, and that it can cause high blood pressure, heart palpitations, things like that. But you may have a higher tolerance.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's with anything, right? Because like I would drink an energy drink or a coffee every morning, and then I would come home and I always call it my second win.
Yeah.
Then I'll get my pre-workout.
Oh, yeah.
Which I haven't done pre-workout since I started CrossFit because it gets my heart rate too high.
It's too high. You can't do.
I can't. Well, I lose my win.
Let me not say you can't.
I lose my win. Some people I work out with you can do.
Yeah, you can't. Some people can. I would say it's not in your best interest to have your system hammered, like absolute red line, and then go do something that's going to last for 20 minutes of sustained activity like that. I don't think that's a good idea.
It works good for if I'm pumping something out in the gym.
Or like a big deadlift or something.
That felt cool.
Yeah.
Well, what I used to do if I was going, like, this is when I used to bro lift.
Yeah.
I would do a leg day on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd eat like shit. I would go in the morning. I would either eat like shit early, like brunch, like area, like time, like 10, 11, eat like shit. Like when I say eat like shit, like a burger and fries or something. Wait till 2 or 3 p.m., get a bang because they're slam full of creatine. Slam full of creatine and 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Correct.
And so it would make me have the energy, but it would make me sluggish because it would water load me so much.
Yep.
But I could take on 15 to 17 more percent than what my PR could have been. So that was my tactic, and it worked for me.
So,
but that was bro lifting. That's not like
you're trying to be.
I'm moving. My heart rate goes all over the place every single day on any workout. Even if we start with which we're on. I haven't talked to you, but I did last time we were on here. We talked about, but I'm on programming. Like I've been on steady mayhem programming now for a solid almost a year.
Okay.
So like we go in. I still need you to come to the gym because we
can now.
We have a strategic plan now, so everything's planned out, and I can say, "Here's the workout. This is something you want to,
sure,
based on your injuries or whatever, But you go in, you have Olympic lifting for 30 minutes, and it's these activities. It's a build-up activity. So you do a little stretching. First workout is 40 to 60%.
Okay.
Second workout 70 to 80%. Last workout of that is you might peak to 90 maybe, and then you get done with all that, and then you go to your WOD.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh hell yeah! And you go to your WOD.
That was quick.
So when you go to your WOD, then so you get all that load work done, but you haven't like overstrained your system. Yes. So then you still have gas in the tank left to achieve this WOD, and this WOD is complementary to the lifts you did previously.
As it should.
Yeah, but most people don't write up shit. They just think, let's do this today. So we've been on strategic planning, and the entire group that I have working out with me now, which is kind of led up by my wife and me and another buddy of ours, and there's about 7 of us that are been just amateur level CrossFitters, aside from my wife, she's a gangster. But we have seen 40 to 50% growth in everything. Mobility, strength, stamina, energy. So
I know why.
One's fucking probably a plan.
Super devil juice, give me some of that, little girl.
So you know that is the why, because any plan will work. Any plan will work. It's if it's thought through and followed through. So I have something that you might want to. We're going to go into that. So any plan will work. I don't care if you say, I'm going to do pre-fatigue, post-fatigue biceps. Your arms are going to get humongous if you do it for long enough.
Yeah.
Right? So I have a thing now. So this just dawned on me a couple weeks ago, and that I'm notoriously stubborn when it comes to people saying they can't do stuff. It drives me crazy. And so
I hate that fucking. I don't want to hear it, dude.
So what I did, I said, all right, here's the 3 things I need you to understand that are the most important. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you're talking to. I don't care what it is. And so I'm in my Unk era right now. You know what that is?
Yeah, bro.
What that mean?
Old, right? I'm in my Unk era. So I don't have time to fool with anything that won't work. I don't have time to mess with anything that doesn't have a resolution. And I don't have any patience for anybody that is not doing good. I flat out. I swear I'm old. I don't have any Stacey Adams shoes, but I'm old. So
until it comes to Sunday, he pulls them out of the closet.
Get them wicker looking shoes. But here's the thing. Attendance is number one importance. Okay, you showed up.
Show
Yeah,
up.
okay. Yeah.
Your intent is the second most important. So your intent, that's your plan. So your intent, what am I doing with this? And then your intensity is the last one. So if you showed up, first bonus, I don't care if you do bicep curls and finger raise, whatever. If your intent was, I'm going to execute this from point A to point B, winning almost all the way. And then your intensity carries you through the rest of the way. So you could have showed up, you could have had a great plan, but your intensity was shit. You're never going to see progress. You could have showed up, you had no plan, your intensity is through the roof. You're going to get hurt and you're going to look like shit. If you showed up, you have intent and you have intensity for a long period of time, you will be excellent. And I don't care if we're talking about finance, I don't care if we're talking about fitness, don't care if we're talking about food. If you show up, so you do it, you have a plan, and you carry it out with reckless abandon, you're going to be just fine in everything you ever tried. It's like I get hit in the face with ideas sometimes and go, ha, that was it. That was it right there. The problem is people show up, go hard for a short period of time, burn out, and then wonder what didn't work because they had no intent.
Yeah.
They didn't know why they were doing this. So that is the biggest thing. That's why your plan works.
Well, I think my why's changed. I know yours has. And I'm sure yours has too.
I got a crazy one now.
Well, tell me. But what I'm saying is, like, for me, it's family.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was aesthetics, performance, and rapport.
So
You know, and at some point and some people carry that on until their deathbed.
yeah,
But mine has shifted. So now I'm about, okay, sustainability, efficiency, still growing, still strong, probably best shape I've ever been in my entire life.
Yep.
Some months I may not have a fucking six pack. Some I might, depending on what type of programming we're doing.
Sure.
But always knowing what I'm putting in my body and always knowing at the end of the day what I got done and not feeling bad about it.
Yeah. So since last time I seen you, lot has changed, whole lot, and it always does, and it always will, and it should. So when you expect, so I always think you should always be searching for what is going to make you more dangerous. Not like, hey, I'm going to put hands on you, but more
Right.
dangerous as you are the expert in whatever that thing is that you are. You still have a high level of physical proficiency. You're trying to attain wisdom in whatever that thing is, and erase as much as your ego as you can. And because everybody has a valid point, just in a different way, and you may not have heard it in the way that they're saying. So the older that I get, the more that I realize that I've always had the answer. I just didn't know how and why to apply it. I've always had the answer. So for physical training, I have to do, well, I don't have to. I have recently done things that I don't want to do, and which I do not want to develop certain things, so I do. So everything I do now is timed. So everything is opposing and is timed because my ego cannot get the best of me. It can't. So if you have an upper body timed day, depending on what it is, so if you press for 60 seconds, and that's mine.
Talking about like
60
overhead
seconds.
or like talking about bench?
Whatever.
Okay.
You pick your poison.
Okay.
So it's movement instead of exercise. And then you pick your poison. And so for mine, it's a chest supported row for a minute, and it's supersetted with weighted dips for a minute.
Sure.
And then in between each one is a minute. So I cannot rush through it. I cannot load up maximal weight because you can't do it. You cannot. And I hate the word can't. You just can't be maximally strong for a minute. It's not going to happen. So it tackles three with one stone. I'm going to get bigger and stronger from doing something for that kind of time period because you can't hide. And that I'm not going to beat myself up because whatever reps that I can do that day is what reps I can do that day. A minute is a minute. I've checked that box. Then my joints are going to be healthy because I cannot ego lift and I can't rip it off the ground. And then it's going to be balanced all the time. So my shoulders, if I'm going overhead, I have to pull after that. Like, I've never shook so hard in my whole life the other day. So I started doing some isometric static stuff for my minute. So it's 80% of my body weight. So I can do it with body weight, but you can't do it for 4 sets. I can't do it for 4 sets like that. So I took 160 pounds, 108, 150, 160 pounds, whatever it was, on the lat pull, and I held it below my chin, elbows to the ribs for 60 seconds. And like you can't go anywhere. And then right after that, it was a minute, as many as I could do with dumbbell thrusters. And then you rest for your minute.
Where did this come from?
Because I realized that I was hiding from things that I wanted to do.
No, but where did this like those two alternating movements, like where did you discover that would be the compare and contrast, I guess?
Usually what happens is you do what you're good at, not what you need.
Right.
You do what you're good at.
Yeah, but you knew after you loaded that lat pull, then you wanted to push, I guess, to get the
exact opposite movement pattern, and I got to involve my legs.
Right.
So that way you're getting the most. So I'm never in the gym more than 40 minutes. Never. Ever, never. And that way, that's number 2, because durability wise, with all the injuries and things, so I have to be cautious of that. Otherwise, I can't train tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I train 6 days a week. Usually 6 days a week. When I say train, it could be, what's going on, man? I could be mobility, or mobility for me is like, so I'm on that Norwegian 4x4. Have you heard of that thing before?
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous. So I'm on the 3-minute week this week. So it's.
When did you start that?
A month ago.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it for 12 months.
Well, you're significantly larger than I saw last time I saw you.
That's why.
It's got to be planning.
So.
What's up, wrong?
Yeah, but that's why though. It's that time under tension for 5 sets of 1 minute of opposing things, and you have 3 of those. You're gonna get bigger. This is what it is without the pain. So I hadn't done a weighted pull up in almost a year, and I just the other day. I said, you know what, I'm going to have a strength day. I have 2 strength days. Then I have 2 of those 1 minute days. So the strength days are 5 reps or less. And then the 1 minute days are 1 minute. And that you go by how your joints feel, not how strong you are.
Right.
And that's how you can keep going. And I realized I can really produce force in 1 minute or less. And I'm talking about big force. After a minute, it falls off really bad because power athletes are not so good for long term. And I said, all right, that's a hole in my game. My heart is a muscle just like everything else. So Aerodyne bike for 1 minute, but I have to keep my heart rate at 140 beats a minute. I don't have a choice, and I have to document, okay, where is it at 140 beats a minute for a minute? And then I'll have minute off. And then the off is usually farmer walks or something like that. And I'm right back on there, and I may do that for 40 minutes. Just because sometimes you got to do that. But this week, it was 3 minutes Aerodyne bike, and then you have 2 minutes off. Then you get on the verse climber for 3 minutes, and then you got 2 minutes off, and then you have a 3-minute plank. And then you right back around, and you do that for 40 minutes. That thing was insane. So you think you're tough until you get down on a stupid plank.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking.
We did one at the end of a WOD the other day, and the only people that would do it was me and my wife. And I was like, I'm going to fucking hold it with her. And it was 3 minutes.
It's so hard.
And I almost died.
It's so hard.
I almost died.
That is one thing I've always been good at, even with my belly.
See, keep doing that.
I can fucking hold a plank.
That's your answer to back pain.
Yeah.
It's an instant answer to back pain.
And no one wants to do it because it's uncomfortable.
It sucks. So even before, case in point, so I got 1 kettlebell day, whether it's strength or the minute. So today was 4 rounds so I got goblet squat for 10 reps. Then I have kneeling overhead press for 6 and 6. Then I'll have kneeling twists because you got to cross the midline of your body.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a half a Turkish get up, 6 and 6.
Those are fucking awesome and amazing and horrible.
And then I got split stance deadlifts.
What weight are you doing?
82. Dude, that's rough. So 4 rounds, 82 pounds. And so I've never really been really strong overhead, but I'm getting strong.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because you're always pulling.
Yeah. So
Always.
now, with 82, I don't care who you are, that's going to humble you real bad. So it's...
Dude, a 30-pound fucking wall ball workout just fucking destroyed me two days ago.
So that's the cool part is the ego is officially removed, and it's just creating work capacity so that way I can be strong forever. Forever and ever. I don't care. Even if I'm 80 years old and those weights drop to 25 pounds, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Like you still are. You still are.
Do the movements.
Yeah, man. Because look, everybody thinks, oh, I'm gonna be six packed out forever. No, you will not.
Well, that's only aesthetics. Like look at people who are efficiently, like, athletic into their, like, I mean, it's not a thing. You're looking for efficiency. You're not looking for aesthetics. It's just, there's two different things. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, yeah, he looked great forever.
Yeah.
But until he didn't. But at the same time, like, he's probably not moving well, and also he probably can't do all the movements that someone else who may be an Olympic athlete who could continue to do it, could do,
Yep. And so this is where, I don't know. So everything it will always change. Every time you see me, I'm going to have a different vibe. Like, I'm officially in my grown-upness. Like, I've never learned about longevity. I need to be the greatest thing that breathed in this minute of life. And I want to be the best at consuming. At this time, I'm trying to focus on the longevity of me and the family. So I never took no time to learn about investments, didn't give two shits.
Yeah.
Because number one, I probably didn't have the money. And number two, it seemed like to even get in the game was ridiculous. So I've turned focus on, okay, set up something to where when you do step away, you can enjoy life even more. So, like, I've been really digging into, like, mutual funds and ETFs and all the other fun things and setting up Roth IRAs. Like, I learned about all that in the last month. So I didn't know anything about that.
Really?
I knew nothing. Because nobody ever around me had never known anything like that. And
that's what's discouraging, too, because that's probably 80% of our population.
Sure.
And honestly, if people really would look at it and think about it, it would contribute to generational wealth, but not only that, sustaining the economy for longer than term to term with a presidential race. You know what I'm saying? Like,
then you're not worried. You're like,
not
look
worried
here,
about
man.
anything because you're sustaining economy and you're creating generational wealth. My wife has literally, she did her certification, Series 7s and all that.
Oh, cool, man.
I've learned, she did all that and decided she still wanted to come back and do what we're doing here. But it's pretty good, right? Yeah.
Just black coffee, yeah.
It's fucking good, though.
You put the magic on the brew.
Hey, we defeated the Nazis on black coffee and cigarettes. You feel me?
A little bit of meth didn't help.
A little bit of meth.
A little bit of meth. Be all right.
They had a lot of meth, though. They were only meth.
Yeah.
It's what's called Povitsin, yeah?
But yeah, dude, I've learned a lot of that in the past couple of years while she was going through all that, and there's a lot to it. But I'm not get off on it too much, but
no, it's cool.
What's horrible about it is there's so many snake salesmen out there that would literally, you can do this on your own if you just take the time to educate yourself.
Yeah, right. And that's what
someone doesn't try to capture your growth throughout the process.
If you were to see my algorithm, it would be all finance. There's fighting, there's dogs, and there's houses.
Yeah.
That's all. If you pull up my Instagram, that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Because, like, you're trying to figure out, like, all the stuff that I like. Right. But it's now I'm trying to get into the adult headspace of, like, I'm way past midlife.
Yeah.
Midlife is 38.
Is that it?
It is, because the average age is 77 when people check out.
Wait, what do you mean way past? I thought you were like 41.
I'm past. I'm in the latter stage of life. I'm not in the former.
Yeah, because 38 is midlife. He's saying 77 is
how old are you though?
Check out.
I'll be 42.
Okay, well, you are 41.
Yeah,
I knew that. Yeah. I was like, you tripped me out. You said way past. I'm like, was Nate like 48?
Way past, like 4 years past.
I age like a dog, man. So every year, like, I'm trying to cram as much life as possible.
Yeah.
So by the time I check out, man, I'll be like 300 years old, man.
Yeah. If you think about it like that, yeah.
Like, I really like. I have a gut check every month of. So I just did my gut check the other day because it's the first. I just did my gut check. You don't know if I do a gut check every month?
Oh,
you talking about like you literally
get
a culture done?
I sit myself down and I say, did I do right by my wife?
Okay.
Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing to help my kids?
Yeah.
What am I doing to help my team? What am I doing to help myself? Like, I sit down, and if I'm messing up, I correct course.
How do you
that day.
What's the order prioritization? Like which one do you do?
Family first always.
Right.
There is not.
And then
I mean,
what?
Hands down, family first. Family first, and then me.
Okay.
Because I need to make sure my relationship with them is good. Because if my health goes, who's going to help me?
Exactly.
Them.
Yeah.
So they don't give two shits about how strong, how fast, how wealthy that you were. They don't care. They care how did you treat them and how, like what did you like what of your life did you give to them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, I make sure that my health is good, so I'm around for them. And then I look at what am I doing for my team? Because if I do right by my team, then they do right by the whole installation. And if the whole installation is done, if we do right by them, then America is done better. So our base is truly one of the most important bases in the entire world. Yeah. No joke. Not
Yes,
even funny. So when you step back and look at it, I am 1,000-foot thinker always. What happens today is inconsequential. It's 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Now we dial it back to what can I do today to affect the next.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm always on the back foot and I always feel nervous. So now, like even the other day, like I sat the team down and I said this. I said, all right, here's the deal. We have a thinking problem right now. We are thinking too much. We need to move at the speed of execution, like now.
Yeah.
You have 30 seconds from the time that you propose a problem to give 1, 2, 3 solutions and aim, fire right now. We do not have time. We are already behind.
Yeah.
So I am not in it for conversation and venting, and I am not the guy. And I've recognized this, and I think I've changed in the last 5 years. I have very, very little compassion for people that want to talk and spin wheels. And I gravitate towards action now. Like we need to go now. If I am the one, if you want a neck chopped, yep, right now. If you want to talk about it and you just want to vent and tell me how things are bad or this, now I'm not your guy because I'm going to give you a solution. And if you don't act, you got to go.
Yeah.
You have to go right now. Because like I was saying, I age like a dog, man.
Yeah.
So for me, if you tell me something's wrong and I'm so ready to help you, if you say, hey man, I have a flat tire, cool, I'm gonna meet you, I got a tire jack and I got this, you're like, yeah, but I might call USAA, I might get some fix a flat, I might do this. I'm like, hey man, call me when you're ready to do something and then let's move out. So I think to help my team, I've identified that as a people, as human beings, there's too much talk and not enough action.
Well, it's because everyone's been given a voice, and we've waited our entire life to get that chance. But guess what? We've already abused it.
Yep. So this is where it's almost like you guys will understand this, being business people. It's kind of like have an employee. You have to remove all air from the room. You say, look, I need you to go to step 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have a question along the line, refer to page 7, refer to page 12, refer to page 19. And that way there is no indecisiveness. There is only problems and solutions. And then if it's above that, now it's an executive thing where I go, all right, judgment call, I need you to go here, and then we will adjust fire if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But we need to go now and then adjust fire. It's like, all right, problem, cool, adjust, aim, fire. All right, problem, cool, adjust, aim, fire. Like it's constant. So for me to help my team, I've become a lot less tolerant of indecisiveness and not forward thinking. So I need people to be who they are. So if we pay you a lot of money to be an expert in that field, I need you to do it.
Yeah.
And if you can't do it, voice that. Let's fill in the gaps and let's get that expertise. So now the next time this comes around, I got you.
Yeah.
And that way I help my family in the same way. So my wife is much more of, she wants to talk about all the scenarios of what could be. I think my role, and I very much recognize it as my role, is to take the air out of the room and say, we're going here. And that's what they expect out of you.
They looked to you for that.
They expect it out of you.
Yeah.
And at first, it may come across as being like kind of harsh at first, but then there's a calm that comes from knowing, even if it's not the right decision, we're going to get there and we will adjust as we go. So I think that in the last year, that has it's been very cut. And I may be wrong, but I will adjust, and I will never let anybody suffer but me if I'm wrong, because I'm going to be the one that's going to take the arrows, while they're the ones that are going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
So as a team lead, you're going to have to take the arrows if you misfire, which is fine.
Of course.
But you're going to make a quick decision and not wait on it, because some opportunities may never come again.
Yes.
Like when you asked me about the podcast, immediate. Yep, cool.
Yeah.
I'm bad at text. But as soon as I seen it, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going.
I need to call you. I've never called you. I'm going to call you one day.
Because I'm bad at text. And that I think that if more of us would trust the excellence that you possess and act on it instead of thinking about it and asking permission, we'd be just fine.
Well, there's not a lot of people that are willing to die on the sword.
Yeah, but all right, so my hands
Yeah.
are real nasty, gnarled,
Yeah.
and calloused. There's some I think there's some beauty in that kind of pain.
Of course.
When you fail so bad and you got to pick the pieces up and then you fix it and you glue it together and then you fail again.
But everyone else wants to use that story as their motivation, but they don't have any fucking story themselves.
Create one.
But that's the problem we're looking at now, right? It's like, okay, well, you haven't went through these trials and tribulations, but you use this as a sense of motivation. That's great, but still have you pushed yourself to that point to then know how to react whenever that gets there. I mean, like case in point in your scenario, to where like you're in constant potential combat mode.
Constant.
Where you're at, and that's
everything.
and you're in literally an area to where at any given time a siren can go off and your entire world changes.
You never know.
And you have to be reactionary.
You never know.
Whereas some people just say, yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. I think that's awesome. That motivates me. But did they ever really get to that point? And can they ever really relate to you? And
No.
so even though you're giving them information, I call you my David Goggins, because that's what it feels like to me. It's like, because you're going to always call someone out on their bullshit.
You have to.
Correct.
And they would trust me more if I tell them the truth.
Yes.
So I will not lie to you, good, bad, or indifferent, because for what? For what?
Well, yeah.
And I have to be scared of the consequence if I'm going to lie to you.
Correct. And you have a position to uphold, and you're doing it no matter what.
Yeah.
And you're keeping everyone else's best interests around you at bay before you do, reflect on yourself and say, well, what do I do if this happens? No, what is my decision then? How does that affect everyone else?
Yeah.
And then after all of that, then, okay, well, what do I do about it? Well,
Now, there is a layer to that I don't articulate very well, and I probably should do better. So the reason why I may come across as like having a knife edge, and I do not suffer fools at all, is because anybody I surround myself with and I like you, I really like you. And I expect the best out of you so you can have the best life. I really like you. If I don't like you, you can't pay me to be around you.
Yeah.
I will not. Because you will drain the goodness out of me if I'm around you. So if it comes across in some kind of way where it's very intense, it is out of pure love that I know that you can do something great, but I need you to make a decision right now. We do not have time for mediocrity. We do not have time for somebody to make any excuse. There is no excuse. There's only ownership. That's it. There's ownership, and then you go, I did that. I will fix it. And then I would just expect that you fix that. I'm never checking up on you if you fixed it, because that's not my deal. And I'm not in control of your reality. I can tell you that you could be so great, but you're going to have to figure out that way and what's going to make you be that. So I know that I have direct control of my own ship. I know this, and there's I can align myself with people to make my passage easier, and I try to. So high flying people, I try to navigate very closely with those that are really on the front end swinging the sword. And so sometimes I'm in front of them, sometimes they're in front of me. And if I'm chasing you, cool. It's not a competition like I'm trying to beat you. I want to be with you. And that I want others to run with me because I want you guys to win. There's no point in any of us winning alone. So if I may
when
come
did that
across,
mindset hit? Because
I used to want to win. I wanted to conquer everyone.
We've had so many conversations. I know that. So when did that shift happen, and what made it happen?
Because I had to be better.
For what, though?
I could never be what I'm supposed to be until I realized that I have to make others better in order to make me better.
Correct. Okay.
I will never be the fullest version of me.
Yeah.
Never. So if I don't make my children better, how can I be a better man? If I don't make my wife better, how can I be a better man? If I don't make my team better, I get all the accolades and they're still the damn same. I'm dragging along an anchor along the bottom of the ocean. So I'm going to run no matter what. I don't give a damn who's in here. I'm running. I'm running until forever. I will never stop running because I only have this one life. I will run forever. But I want to run with others. And that if I'm dragging you, I can't be around you. Because I want to give everybody I'm around the tools to win. And it has nothing to do with money, it has nothing to do with finances. It has to do with, are you a good father? Are you a good mother? Are you a good sister and a brother? Are you a good teammate? If you are not, fix that shit right now. And then we can run further. If you don't have an education in whatever it is, whether it be college, whether it be trade school, whether it be get on YouTube University and learn some shit. If you don't know, figure it out now. So we can have conversations that are better than when in 2002, when we didn't know anything. So if I've known some people for a very long time and we still have the same damn conversations.
Yeah.
So I want you to elevate. I want to grow with everybody. So that's why if it ever comes across as like, oh, you think you're better, absolutely not. I want you to be better because my mind has changed and I keep growing and I will never stop growing until I die, ever. Because why would you stop? Like if you had plumbing knowledge and I'm going, hey, how do you snake it? How do you do that? How do you figure out, how do you reroute a plumbing thing? Why would I not ask you? That's freaking dumb. Yeah. So if you had some kind of media marketing thing and I go, hey man, like I'm really trying to like get my side hustle a little bigger. Do I have something that I can give to you so you can show me how to get my side hustle bigger? Yeah. Why would I not do that?
Yeah.
So the only way that I've seen people not want to do that is it's out of insecurity and they have to admit that they don't know everything, which I told my supervisor. So my supervisor's a good lady, but I keep bringing to her the ways that if you ever stop growing, you're going to die right now.
Yeah.
And that it may seem like we keep taking like these paths and just spider out, but it all comes back to the same one. We just got more gifts and now our reach is bigger. Yeah. So once she kind of understood like where I'm going with that, why would you not want to know how to pour concrete in the airfield? Why would you not want to know how to, like what rating your insulation is? Why would you not want to know how to better speak in public? Why would you not want to know how to draft something for a protocol to get like state senators in? Well, like what the hell are we talking about? So I want everybody to level up because why would you not? You're going to get paid no matter what. Why would you not?
That's what's unfortunate is I think people just we're going to go to this. By the way, we just had some Gran Cormino. That was the Cristalino. Yeah, we're going to go to this extra anejo, which was
I'm good.
Which is really
shit.
No, you're going to do a little bit, man. Come on, man. Yeah, come on, man.
No.
I've never tried it. I'll try.
All right, so here's. They said I ain't no bitch. No, but here's the thing with Cristalino, it's basically it's aged and then it's triple filtered through charcoal, and that's how you get the brown back out of it. So then they take it and run it again through an aging process to get an extra añejo. So it's really crazy. So you're going to get the exact same recipe, back barrel aged,
but aged even longer.
So you try to pour.
Dude, you don't have to drink it all. We'll pour it back in the bottle. Doesn't matter to me.
No, Dad, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. No, I feel like we had coffee, so it's not going to do nothing to me. It pretty much balanced it out.
Now, granted, I definitely went off on a rant.
No, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I just wanted to bring that up. But back to what you were saying. Yes. Shit. I already forgot my point. I was going to say something.
It's just how do you not want to have a bigger shell? Like
right.
a hermit crab,
How you content where you're at? But I feel like in the position you're in, working with the people that you're working with, and only because I've closely become one with a lot of people who are active duty or post veteran or whatever, is that a lot of times there's a position, you hold it, you really don't care what it is your task is. You just know that at some point you're going to reach that point, kind of like a job in corporate world where like, I just need to get to here. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to ruffle any feathers. I'm not going to piss anyone off. I just need to get to here so I can sit at the house and not do anything anymore.
I have a question. So, remember that quote where men die quiet lives of desperation?
Yes.
Somebody said that quote. There is a quote, and I don't know who it is.
We're gonna have
but it's men die quiet lives of desperation, right?
Well, Josh will find it real quick.
That is, and when they say men, it's like humankind.
Of course.
So, I think that the midlife crisis that happens is from people doing that, and that there is no excitement. There is.
Yeah.
That's why that there's a certain anxiety of
I think
people.
everything slows down and they start saying, okay, well, what's important to me now? And I've been doing this for so long. I'm not chasing a rat anymore. My kids are almost grown. I'm not having to go to ball games and meet this deadline and do all this. I'm 10 years from retirement. What did I do this all for?
Here's how you can look at it: is everything happened to get you to what you were doing if you were thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Because all the stupid stuff that you had to go through, or all the stuff that you missed, or all the things that you had to readjust, it got you to either have the conversation with somebody, it had you take this job, it had you do whatever you had to do to get through that. And that if you don't care about your job, that's fine. Find an area of your job that you can use as a leverage to do the things you really love. So let's say that you're holding a postal position and you know it's a great benefit position. You don't give two shits about the U.S. Postal Mail Service, but you know in 20 years you can retire, whatever it is. So during that time, if you don't care about the job, why don't you start caring about the people?
Yeah.
And say, hey, I can mentor this new young kid and give him the game that I didn't have. Or you can say, in the time that I'm here, I'm going to create the most efficient procedure while I'm here, whether or not I get paid well or not. And that you reduce waste and redundancy, and that maybe they give you your remote job that you like because you've created this thing, you have done process improvement so well that you can enjoy another part of your life. People don't look at, they're just thinking of, I just have to punch in 9 to 5.
Well, I feel like everyone's reactionary. And as a human race, that's what we've been our entire lives. We are bred to react. Like, you're walking through the woods, there's a threat, you react. You know what I mean? Like you're in your colony or your tribe, someone, we're a reactionary human. Like, you only get to become proactive once you reach a state of comfort to where you have time long enough to think to be proactive. And I think either you have to be an advanced mind, in if we're taking thousands of years back, or even now, even still, we're still tribal. We're tribal in a different area. We're tribal on a like technological. Yeah. I can't talk right now. Like, we're tribal there versus tribal, in the room.
I get it.
And so I feel like that's what it is. Like, and Josh and I had this conversation the other day, but like if you wake up and decide to be proactive, that shift in mindset carries throughout your whole day. Whereas if you wake up immediately, look at your phone, look at an email or a text, or check your bank balance, and then it shifts your mindset.
Started at 5 a.m.
Yeah. And then it changes the way your trajectory of the day goes.
Yeah.
So I think it's either one, in my opinion, it's either one or two things. It's either you have to be I don't know if it's, you either have to be aware enough to think proactively, or you have to be comfortable enough to think proactively.
So I agree. And
I'm not creating an excuse. I'm just saying,
No.
I'm thinking,
No.
like, I am always trying to be proactive, but there's 80% around people around me that are reactive, and they're always reactive.
So I will say there are infantry and there are generals.
Yeah. But how do you become, is it inherently bred in you?
No. You know, like when people lose big weight and they finally lose it forever?
Yeah.
Because they're tired of being tired.
Right.
When people get tired of being tired and they feel like they have no control of their life, then they'll make a change and figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Because we live in the greatest country in the world. If you want to be something, you can. Nobody can tell you you can't. So if you wake up one day and saying, you know what, I'm tired of not having a say in my life, I'm going to research how, like, what do I like to do? I'm tired of feeling like I don't get my raise. So what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. I'm tired of Cindy talking shit at the water cooler. What are you going to do about it? So if you go back to being 10 years old, riding bikes, and you don't like Timmy, and Timmy is going to ride up to you every day and smack shit out of you,
Yeah.
what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
So as an adult, I think we stop thinking about Timmy riding the bike. So you just accept that quiet life of desperation and that you're paying bills and you work to get to Friday instead of saying, okay, Monday, what we got? I'm gonna volunteer for this development series of, I don't know, it's conflict resolution. I'm gonna take this online course during lunchtime that is on Series 6, financial.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this YouTube series about ETFs and mutual funds so I can figure out what the hell I'm gonna do and I can step away at 59 and a half.
Yeah.
So
Dump it all in the S&P, bro.
all you gotta,
Dump it all
nah,
in there.
hey,
Dump it
you
all
could
in
do
S&P 500.
It's proven it's going to pay back eventually.
There's so many different ways, but the crazy thing is there's so many different ways that people won't step into any uncomfort for the thought that something could happen that was bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's
In everything.
once again because you're fortunate enough to be. That's who you are. You're reactionary. You don't want to be against the grain. You're just like, okay, well, this works. It is what it is.
If somebody told you you're going to die tomorrow, would you still be safe?
What you mean?
I'm not safe now, so no, I can't answer that question.
So same thing with office worker Cindy.
Yeah.
If somebody says you're going to die tomorrow, would you still live life bland, lame, Wonder Bread white toast? Or would you go tackle it and do everything that you said that you always wanted to do? That's what I don't understand.
When you say that statement, it reminds me of that movie. We always go pop culture, me and Josh.
Which one?
Wanted, where they cover the bullets.
Yeah. Would you?
As
The
soon as
serious
you don't
business.
remember that movie?
So, dude, every day I live like I'm not going to wake up.
But you know what I'm talking
I know
about. As soon
exactly.
as you said that, I got that vibe.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, Angelina Jolie was in that thing.
Yeah, but he was just a regular person. He thought he was what is it? Like he thought he had anxiety, he was taking his
Sure.
pills, but he was really suppressing something that was a gift.
all of us have that.
Yeah. I don't
So-
think anxiety is a crutch. I think it's something. Well, no, excuse me. I don't think it's a deficit.
An
I think
ailment,
we
yeah.
use it as a crutch.
Yes. So being anxious is usually it's a trigger. You're doing something you ain't supposed to do.
Yeah.
So either you have no purpose, or the person that you're tied to is not for you, or you're in a terrible ass job. Whatever that is, if you go there and immediately get dread, do some investigating.
And
Because
here's the
your
thing,
body will tell you, like if you get around somebody you can't stand, I promise you're like, oh my God. Like you're immediately irritated
Yeah.
and you got to go do something else. So imagine if you did a job like that for 30 years because the benefits are good.
I couldn't.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But yes.
So people, if they could, or people should investigate what brings you joy and work towards that, even if it's a part-time hobby.
We're
that
having this conversation, and there's going to be somebody that says, well, blah, 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 yada, yada. But here's what you don't understand. You can, first off, tell me how amazing that is.
Dossie Session, yeah?
This is like vanilla right off the
It's
rip.
amazing.
Isn't that cool?
That's pretty cool. Is it like the barrel that they put that in, or
And they have some additives too. Grand
Wow.
Community most definitely has some additives, but still, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
Vanilla
there
bean
are
extract.
people that will always give you but, and that's fine. They're not ready. They're not tired of being tired.
And you may never get there.
And that's okay.
I think we're in a 1% population, and I'm not saying that you can't achieve any goals you set your mind to. I'm saying having this conversation is hard enough for most people because most people are never willing to admit that there's something wrong in their life and they want to change it. Mm-hmm. Yes, they will say something's wrong, but they'll immediately have an excuse to back it up.
Correct. So, granted, do I think I could run the entire human performance of the DoD? Hell yes. I will not flinch. I will not waver because I put it in the universe. I promise you that I could. Am I willing to disrupt my family to do so? No.
Right.
So there are some things you can intentionally hold yourself to a certain either location or a certain job because of the people that you chose to sacrifice
and that's
for.
a big hindrance. And here's the thing. That's respectable and honorable and it's right to. But do you throw away everything?
No.
To then you die.
It's calculated.
And then it's for what?
So this is calculated. So I think that there's people that do not even do the calculated risk. So I know with skill sets and mindset that I am fully capable of doing exactly what I just said. But at what cost? Because if I do said things, remember I told you 1,000-foot thinker. If I do that thing, what third order effects does it have for my kid going into high school? What does it do to my wife as far as her plan of life? What does it do to the established roots that are set? And is it going to be in a better location? Like so much more better, or excuse me, so much better. My Michigan education coming out.
Mo better.
Mo better.
I like that. I like that Mo better.
Is it going to be Mo better in all aspects of life to where they're saying, man, I'm so glad that we left? Or is it because I'm chasing something that I know that I could do and it's only going to benefit me and money? And granted, you can make a footprint, sure. But what did it do to the people that you care about the most? So that's where you can have that conversation, but you got to have an honest one. And it can't have any cowardice to it.
Yeah.
The cowardice being, we could take this move, but it's going to be hard for me. Even if it's hard for me and that they would do so much better, but it's going to be hard. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, your legacy is only based on the perception of those who are closest around you once you're gone.
Yeah, so if you got, so really, I have 4 years with my oldest. She'll be 14 in November. I have 4 years. If I chose, let's say that it was in, I don't know, pick some random ass place, Offutt, Nebraska.
Yeah.
And that was the headquarters of whatever, human performance, whatever. And I took her and I brought her to Offutt, Nebraska, and she absolutely floundered. Her view of what I did would be personal, and she was like, you took me out of somewhere where I thrived. This was absolutely terrible. We were in the cornfields of nowhere, and that you only did this to get cash money. I'm in college right now. I hate that you did this for me. Where you never know. It may thrive, you may not. So that's something that people can have their own conversation. But if you haven't investigated, okay, what are the school districts like? What's the economic output? What's the demographics of the place that you live in? Is it all ethnicities? Is it just one? Is it two? Is it like, what are the seasons? What kind of amenities are around you? Do you have pro sports teams? Do you not? Do you have, like, what is it? So if you chose to risk it all, did it benefit them on all fronts, or did it just benefit you?
Yeah.
So there's a caveat to that. So you got the CEO headspace, which I think that I would be a very dangerous person if I didn't have family, because I would take all the risk and don't care, because I will move anywhere.
Same. I'll pick up and go right fucking now.
Yeah.
If I didn't have them.
But it makes you think, okay, the CEO mindset will get you lonely. You're rich and lonely.
Yeah.
So could you still be good and obscenely happy in a place that maybe you're like, it doesn't check all the boxes, but we can make it work. So this is where there is a gray. So I'm not creating any excuses for anybody. Just make sure that you're always looking at, is my need to succeed going to hurt all those that I care about? And then why did I do that? Or is it my cowardice that I could make everybody's life better all the way around me? Make your life, take everybody with you if I would only be brave enough to go ahead and put that lunch hour work in.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones where I don't know if you can solve it. I don't know if it's a person-to-person thing, but I think that everybody
it's a balance
should.
of mindset, perception, and environment. And people can preach something to someone all day long. If they ain't trying to hear it, they ain't gonna hear it. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And it might be 1,000 different things. It wasn't the right time of day. They weren't in the right headspace. They weren't pushed against the wall enough to that be a motivator. I just think there's so many different things. But I do think that if there's someone constantly out there advocating, hey, you can make better decisions, you can make better choices, and you can treat this one life like it is only one life, because it is. And yes, you can put people before yourself, but if you don't take time to care about yourself, you're not going to be able to give anyone anything.
So I always look at the professional outlook is, did it take away from my number one priority? If it takes away from my number one priority, I don't care what job it is. So if I can't go to my son's baseball game, which he has one at 6, if I can't go to my kid's cheerleading competition, if I'm not doing homework with them and building we just built like this 3D home model thing, if I'm not doing that, that's not the job for me. Because the CEO mindset with me is, it's there when I'm clocked in at work. As soon as I cross that gate of that base, complete locked in, 100% focus. As soon as I leave, 100% focus on my main priority, and that I'm only locked in for 8 hours for them. Everything else is for the people I care about. So the most ideal thing for most people would be to spend the time with the people they care about. Hopefully that they have a great relationship with their people. If they don't, maybe that's the first priority, and that you use the job as a springboard to help you make more memories of the people you love. And that you don't have to love what you do, because it's not what you do, it's not who you are, it's what you do. The best thing is if you have a job that mirrors who you are and it allows you to spend the time with the people you care about. If you got those three, man, you got no complaints.
This is the only place in the world where you can have that if you're just willing to find it and put in the time to take to find it. And it's not hard. Because if you take any of us, and put us in another country with their restrictions, ordinances, way of life, you can't manipulate anything we have here. So the excuse of, well, I'm restricted to this town, or I'm restricted to my family only wants this, or my husband or my wife only wants this. You have the opportunity, but there's only a select few that are willing to take it. And I think that's always going to do that. But I think it's a tribal thing. Like, once again, I always go back to that, because at the end of the day, we are still fucking animals. And we talked about this on the last episode, but like, we're only animals. So like, there's motherfuckers that are going to get up and do something, and there's some that's going to sit there and wait to be fed. And the ones that sit there and wait to be fed are the ones that can be eaten first.
No, I agree. But I think it goes back to the infantry and the generals. Mm-hmm. So the easy route is to be fed and to accept what you're given and to just get through the day, so that way you can go home and like decompress and start it all over the next day.
Those are the only ones that complain.
That is, the ones that go hard are the ones that have a plan. They don't complain. They
never fucking complain, because there's always another fucking option.
When somebody tells me they're bored, I said, "Excuse me?
I don't have to. I haven't been bored.
When's the last you been bored?"
It's been a long time.
10 years, bro. 10 years for me.
So
before I met you,
when I hear bored, you ain't thinking right.
I hear an opportunity to learn more or do something.
Like I feel bad. Like my wife, she'd tell you, like, I'd never sit still. I'm actively trying to be more still, because when I go home, I want to go out and I got a garden and stuff. I got a garden. I cut the grass. I'm building part of a fence. I'm in here. I got to lift some weights, and then I'm brewing some coffee. I'm trying to figure out how to cold brew coffee. I'm just waiting on you to start
smoking meat. You can get everything else.
Don't say it too loud, because then we might get a beef jerky coming here or something coming.
Oh shit! Okay.
All right. Yeah.
That way,
smoked beef jerky.
It's I feel for her, because she has that gift. I don't. So she has the gift to where she can like sit down and be. I don't have that gift, but I'm trying. So just to be able to enjoy your people, I think it goes back to what I've said this before, is to earn your leisure. And that if you've went as hard as you can in whatever avenue that you can, and you've tried to set up every way possible for your people to win, whether it's the most time with you or the most memories, or you got your new promotion because you projected it and you worked right to it, that's kind of where you can sit down and enjoy it. Or you can go to Orange Beach and unplug, and it doesn't even matter because you kind of did it. I think what happens is people just get to Friday and nothing has really been accomplished at all. Mm-hmm. You put papers from this pile to this pile. Your junk drawer still looks the exact same it did. You did not save the $500 that month that you're supposed to. You didn't plan the trip that you were gonna. You're still bitching and moaning to your brother or your sister about the state of the union or whatever the hell that you're mad about, but you have done absolutely nothing to better your situation in any measurable capacity. That's what I'm talking about. There's always ways to be more effective.
Yeah, of course.
Always. So if you wake up and you go, no, fuck that. Today is a good day. I'm gonna get as much cool stuff as I can done. I'm not staying in the house. You crazy? I'm gonna go do something. All right, I got done fishing. Cool, because I'm about to go get some dirt for the garden. Okay, cool. I just got done with that. Yeah, great. Who wants to go to the movies?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go to the movies? Cool. After we get done with the movies, hey, who wants to come out here and make this fire? So when you get done, why would you just plant and never be better?
I don't know, man. I think I only think that only happens because we are fortunate enough to have that opportunity to do so.
How did it happen though? Through
it's that whole thing. What is it?
Through the
strong
generals?
men that whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Good times.
Yeah. You have to look it up, man. I don't know.
Good
Create
times
weak time-
create
weak men.
carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Carbohydrates create bad times.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah.
So I think what is it? Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times, and it
Correct.
just keeps
Hard
going.
times create
Yeah.
strong men. Blah, blah. Yeah.
And so right now, there's a bunch of us out there. We're just scattered. There's
Yes.
a bunch of us.
Right. There is, but there's far less of us now than there used to be.
I think
Because-
the pendulum might swing back. I've seen some wild ass little kids lately.
Of course, but
Which
what
is
I'm
awesome.
saying, but they still have convenience and opportunity.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't stack. Those kids may be badass, phenomenal athletes, but they do not stack up against the ones that were in the trenches. They just don't, because at the end of the day,
Sean Taylor.
they go out. They get to go home to air conditioning. Two
I'm waiting
parents.
for him to make their Rastafarian gun noises.
You know what I'm talking about?
I was waiting on this.
Yeah, all that type shit.
They get to go. They get to go home to air conditioning and two parents and hot food. If you were to take them 20 years back and put them in the same room as that other individual just has more gumption.
I just read something about that the other day, about make sure that you spend time talking to your kid and training your kid to make sure that they can defend themselves, because the kids that didn't grow up with love, they fight harder.
Yeah, of course.
And if you
look
they
at
get
any
into a
champion
fist
fighter.
fight,
Look at Mike Tyson.
so think about it. You
The
get into a
Diaz
fist
brothers.
fight. You get into a fist fight with a kid that had a bad life. If your kid is not ready and willing to whip some ass, there is a bad time coming for that kid.
Yeah.
So, like, coming from something like that, like, granted, my mom, she's an awesome lady, but growing up very tough, you better knock me out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're in for a real bad time. And that the work ethic, I think, comes from that weird ass headspace of you got to get it from the mud kind of deal, where if you don't help your kid to realize through either weightlifting or sports or whatever, like, make them suffer through something. And I'd say suffer in a lightly used term.
Of course, we're talking about
Like
they
work.
need to see adversity.
Yeah, they need to sweat. They need to cry. They need to get over it. They need to get through it. Otherwise, they'll run across somebody that has lived that life forever, and that they're going to have a rough time with that person because they will absolutely get taken advantage of.
Of course.
Matter of fact, we were at the baseball diamond 2 weeks ago, and there was this little kid. There's 3 little kids. I was practicing with my son, and we were just hitting the ball, and he picked up my son's bat. He was like, "Hey, can we play?" I said, "Nah, man, I'm practicing." He goes, "This ain't your bat." And I said, "Hey, man, what'd I just say to you?" I said, "We ain't playing. This is my practice with my son." He goes, "This your glove?" "Yes, my glove." "This ain't your glove." And he threw it down, and I said, "Hey, this is what's going to happen right now. Either you are going to put my bat, my glove down and get out of here, or I'm going to have my son whip your ass right now. and I'm going to, and you other 2 are going to stand by and watch your friend get his ass beat." And my son's looking like real scared. Like, is this, I'm going to fight him? And the kid kind of did one of them, and he took off, and he went to the next field, tried to steal the other people's ball.
Yeah.
And that he was like, "Were you going to really have me fight him?" I said, "Hell yeah, I was going to have you fight him."
Yeah. I can't fight him.
Now the trick is, my son is a very strong, very able kid, but he's super nice. What would have happened is the kid was not going to fight, and if he did fight, he would get his ass beat. What would have happened is I would have showed him, you don't never let nobody take anything of yours. Number 2, even if you do scrap, you better fight until it's done.
Yeah.
And I'm never gonna let somebody come in and punk you, because he don't see that. He is a nice neighborhood. Anybody bothering him there?
Yeah, he's never not running into that.
But I wanted to show him, this is what you do if somebody's happening, and you have to be willing to toe that line and give him an ass whooping that he deserved. And that he said, "Is that what you're supposed to do?" And I said, "Hell yeah, you're supposed to do that. Don't you never let somebody do that, because when you do it once, they're going to come back over and over and over again. They're going to punk you."
Yeah.
And he told my wife, and she goes, "I can't believe you're going to have him fighting." And I said,
Fight club in a baseball park.
And I said, "You're damn right, because at some point he is going to have to use this.
Yeah.
Whether as a little kid or as an adult, somebody is going to pull his card, and he has to be ready."
Well, I got to tell you this shit real quick, and we're going to wrap up here in a second, but I got to tell you this because you brought that up. So my son gets the shit slapped out of him on the school bus like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Jeez.
So he's sitting on the school bus, annoying some kid. Kid tells him to stop or I'm going to hit you. Well, he keeps fucking with him. The kid hits him. I don't see an issue with that. He told you to stop.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
He hit you.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know what my reaction should be there.
Cause effect.
Right. Okay. So, fast forward to last week. I get a phone call. Me and my wife are doing something. We're working together, and she calls and says, "My mom just picked up my son, or our son. She was going to check him out that day, but just so happened she walked in to check him out. And he was sitting in the office already.
Oh.
He just got in trouble because he got a fight on the playground. He got a fight on the playground because this kid pushed him. They were having an argument. This kid pushed him. He pushed him back. This kid hit him. He hit him back.
Okay.
I'm okay with that, but here's the conversation I had. After the scenario happened on the bus, I come home and heard my wife said, "These kids are picking on him."
Oh, gotcha.
And that's because he walks into the house crying.
Sure.
Well, we get the story later. What really happened is you were provoking this person and something happened back. I've been telling my kids, you can talk shit. I don't try not to be that harsh, but I say you can't keep talking shit and something not happen. So if you're going to be that smart ass person, eventually you're going to run into someone that doesn't take that. At the same time, you created that scenario. I think you deserve to get hit. My wife told the principal that when she called about the bus situation. She said, "Well, he deserved it." And the principal's reaction was like, "We don't condone violence." And I was like,
What?
I get it. That's what you have to do on a political level. But he told you, if you don't quit fucking with me, I'm going to hit you. You kept fucking with him. He hit you.
What's
You
wrong with
had
that?
your warning. Okay.
What's wrong with that?
I had the conversation with my son before I knew that what happened. When the first thing I knew was he's getting picked on. That's what I heard. So I said, do not ever let someone hit you. And if they're going to hit you, you hit them back. Because if you don't hit them, I'm going to whoop your ass. Are you more scared of getting in trouble at school or me whooping your ass?
Same.
And I don't give a shit who judges me on that, because
Same.
that's how I was raised. And here's the thing. That's what's made me who I am. But I hear later, the next day, this is what really happened. Mm-hmm. So my conversation changed, and I said, you're lucky you're not getting your ass kicked because. But at the same time, I'm glad you learned that lesson. The kid just slapped him. It wasn't a big deal.
That's fine.
I'm glad you learned a lesson that you were fucking with him, and he told you to stop, and then you kept doing it. And he's like, well, I thought he was kidding. What? This is real life now. You're 10 years old. You're walking into real life. When someone tells you something, and it's a physical threat, and you're doing something to provoke it, then you're going to get what you asked for. Now, the second scenario was he comes home. He's extremely scared of getting in trouble. I'm not getting on to you for hitting him back because I just told you 2 weeks prior that if someone hits you, you better hit them back because we're going to have an issue because you should not be that person that lets someone hit you. But, so my next conversation is this, and this is crazy and it may be hard to understand for a 10-year-old, but at least I'm trying to get into his head because I didn't have someone walking me through these processes. Do not be starting shit at school. Do not create conflict. Don't start a fight. Don't be fighting.
Yeah.
But if you get in the scenario of where someone hits you and you have to return that hit, I'm not going to get on to you, but you're still going to face repercussions at the school because they have a policy. So we're in that scenario now where he was so scared he was in trouble, whereas I don't really think he was in the wrong, but at the same time, they have a policy. You know what their policy is. Avoid conflict.
I'll tell you what I told mine. It's right, wrong, or indifferent. It's going to stay in until the end of time. I said, look, there's people there that are supposed to help you. So there's teachers, there's principals, there's your, what's the police officer? What's
SRO.
that?
SRO, yeah.
SRO, they're supposed to help you. So use those people to help you. And if you can get away from the person that's bothering you, get away.
Yeah.
If you can't get away, then you go tell the person that's supposed to help you. Teacher, SRO, principal, whatever. If they don't help you, and I said, okay, what do you do if they don't help you? And in unison, all three of them would say, if they don't help me, I help myself.
Right. And that's a great policy.
If you don't look, and they say, well, what if I get in trouble? I will be right there at that school, and I'm going to tell them, hey, if my kid gets suspended, guess what news channel is coming up here to cover this because you didn't protect my kid against somebody that's bullying my kid.
Yeah.
And that my kid had to whip that kid's ass because you didn't do your job.
Yeah.
So my kids will never get in trouble for that. But the first thing is, don't you ever fight at school. Don't you ever, because you're there to learn.
Yeah.
If you do, it's because the system had failed to help you and you had to protect yourself. So if I find out that you fought at school and if you didn't ask somebody, that's your ass.
Yeah.
If you asked somebody and they didn't help you and you wailed on that person, you're never
Just
in trouble with me.
yourself. Right.
And I might take you for some ice cream.
But my thing was
sucralose and everything.
I did not say I'm proud of you.
No.
Because I don't think that I want to condone violence.
No. Fighting, dude, if you know how to fight, that's the last thing you want to do.
Exactly. If you truly know how to defend yourself, that's the last thing.
Scary.
That's the last tool you use.
You must run and die.
But true. I didn't say I'm proud of you, but I did say you're not in trouble with me, but you have to realize that there are rules there and you have to follow those rules. And unless someone comes up and attacks you for no reason, there's no reason why you should be hitting someone. And that's kind of where I left it at, because I can understand in a 10-year-old's mind how confusing all this must be. You don't want to be in trouble at school, but you also don't want to be in trouble at home. But also, you've never been in a fight. Someone just slapped the shit out of you 2 weeks ago. You're just now learning.
That is tough.
Accountability.
That is tough.
So it's funny you brought it up because, like, and Josh and I talked about it too, but, like, I mean, it is what it is, but I didn't have no one talking me through any of this.
No.
So I feel I'm just trying to be the voice of reason, but at the same time, you still got to stand up for yourself.
You know what you just described? Being a good parent.
Yeah.
Because you're trying the best you can, and that you're trying to do the best you can by the kid to teach them a lesson. You don't want them to get hurt, and you don't want them to get on this path of as soon as somebody does something I don't like, I'm going to punch them.
Exactly. We're not playing that game.
That's trying to be a good parent.
Because everyone's going to do something you don't like every single day.
And maybe we don't get it. Maybe it's the wrong advice, but it's the right advice for long-term safety.
All I know is I know how I've lived and how I've gotten this far, and I feel like that I've learned some great life lessons, and I'm going to pass them on based on the way my environment was shaped and created. And
I will say, I taught my daughters a little different. I don't want them fighting. Of course. I don't want them fighting.
Of course. Well, I told my daughter the same thing because she's just as bad. I said,
and it sucks.
It's different.
I'm like, man, don't fight.
Yeah.
There's ladies fighting. There's nothing. No, ladies fighting in the ring. Awesome.
Yeah,
it's a skilled thing.
Yeah.
Ladies fighting in school. The worst fights you ever seen were fights between ladies.
They're smarter than us.
They're pulling hair.
They're smarter
like
than
people
us.
in faces.
They don't need to be the ones fighting.
No,
they need to be the ones strategizing.
So, and I always say, look, man, try to talk. If you can reason your way out of something, it's like, no, I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
And then you ask the person that's in charge.
See, I'm worried because I have one.
He has three girls.
Well, I have 3 girls, but I have one in particular. I can tell you right now, one of the twins.
She goes hard.
Fuck.
Now,
Because she was telling me about a boy that keeps hitting her. And same thing, I said, they're 4. So I said, are you telling your teacher? She said, yeah. I said, okay, good. I said, same thing though. I said, if he keeps hitting you, I want you to hit him back though.
Yeah.
And I told him at the dinner table the other night, I said, Marshall, throw one. Dude, rear back. I'm like, cool.
Hey, it won't take but one of them. That little boy, leave her alone.
But Nora's so sweet though. I'm worried about her because Nora's like, I'll do it. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I really hope nobody fucks with her. She's really sweet though, so they probably won't. And the thing is too, like with Marsha, it's like she might have been provoking that little dude too though.
But as they get older, it's the girls and the girls are so vicious.
Dude,
that's why
vicious.
I'm worried.
Your girls are in the age of to where
they're really fighting. Like the 8th grade,
but only that, but they're so detrimental on a public humiliation level, like
on an emotional type.
Yes,
like the mean girl thing.
Yes, the mean girl thing. So that thing's real, and we didn't, as men, young men, we don't see that.
No, if you talk trash, you're like, oh, are we doing this?
Yeah, or you find a tribe to where you don't have to get into an altercation, right? But like with women,
it's a social standing thing. It's a weird thing. Like it's
very, very
their reputation. They'll try to trash the reputation.
Yeah.
So I always tell them, look, man, because my kids, they're good kids. All of them are good kids. I tell them, look, the people that are there for you and they like you, gravitate towards them. If they don't like you, that's cool. You just don't spend much time with them.
Yeah.
And that you don't need to say or do anything to them. Just kind of give them their space. Hey, man, you're right. And what is it going to do for you to say, hey, you're right? Yeah. And if it looks like, oh, you punk down, who cares? You don't need, looking back, the fights that I've been in have always been to protect other people, never from a personal altercation.
Yeah.
And
I can't say the same thing, but I'm ashamed of a lot of those situations,
Because I kind of like people. And that if it's from a personal altercation, it's because it came from trying to help somebody else. Yeah. So I always tell them, look, always be nice to everybody. If you kill them with kindness and they still want to fight you, try to avoid. And if you can't, I need to teach you the things that'll make you safe. So all them girls, they hit mitts. I make them all do pull-ups. They all train, and at 3 days a week they have to train, so they're stronger than the other ladies.
Here's what people need to understand if they have a combative comment to anything we're talking about: is that at the end of the day, if someone comes and hits you in the face, is there someone there to protect you? If there's not,
what are you
going to do?
And I don't want anybody to
I don't want anyone to get hit in the face.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the face.
Me either.
This shit hurts.
Unless I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And at this point, a lot.
At this stage of the game, my son was like, man, could you beat him up? I said, probably, but I never would. Because he goes, yeah, you think you could take this person? It's like, I guess, but let me tell you what, buddy. Fighting at this stage is nonsense. Because I'm going to go to jail and I don't see you guys. I'm probably going to break my hands.
Yeah.
And what if I spike somebody in the pavement and they die? And that's a real possibility.
It happens every single day.
If you pick somebody up as a grown man, what are you about, 215, 220?
I'm 240, yeah.
So 240 pounds. Let's say I picked you up and you came down on your head.
Yeah, I'm probably going to die.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So when you look at the reality of fighting as a grown man, absolutely not. You right, I'm good. But if you put hands on somebody, you got to do what you got to do. But as a kid, I said, as a kid, you can get away with that.
Yeah, you're not going to kill each other. And at the same time, like, it's just like putting 2 dogs in the backyard. You let them figure it out. You know what I mean?
As a kid, your hands are they're soft.
Yeah.
As an adult, I try to explain to him the amount of power that a man can turn over and his fist, those little tiny bones are going to explode. It's not a good idea to hit a brick on top of a neck with these little baby bones. And so fighting is not awesome, but if it's necessary, make it count.
Yeah.
And that hopefully you've already told the authorities that you try to wiggle your way out of it. Now somebody would have to like chase me down and grab me to fight. I don't care what word you said. You'd have to like touch me.
Dude, I
to
can't even get
something.
offended anymore. It's so funny how I used to be on the flip of a switch. I was like, let's go. Now I'm like,
you got so much. You got so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
At first, you don't really know what you're even losing if you lost it.
yeah.
Now, man, you imagine being away from your daughter for 6 months.
Fuck that, man.
Dude,
I realized at 13 years old, I didn't want to fight people. A dude threw a haymaker on a bigger kid that was picking on me, and he turned his head. Well, of course, I'm going for here. He turned his head, skull. Oh. He was asleep for 5 seconds. He hit the ground immediately. He was asleep for 5 seconds, and I'm just holding my hand. I broke my fucking hand.
Yep.
And it was just like, and we're 13, 14 years old, and I'm thinking to myself, like, especially the more I grew, I'm like,
imagine now.
I'm like, shit, dude.
It's different.
No way.
I crushed my hand.
And not only that, like, but at that point, you just had a lesson to learn. Now it would change your entire life.
Man, you're going to the clink. I don't have time. Man, I like my freedom.
Yeah.
I like going to the store, get something to eat. You
Yeah.
just kind of chill. you know,
I like to get up and do what I want to do. I like to get up and do my cold plunge,
so that's
drink coffee.
And like, do I want my kids to be little outlaws? No, man.
No.
But I do want people to understand, like, the social media gets you comfortable getting punched in the face or, you know, saying stuff. So to have the tools to do it without having to do it is the whole goal.
Well, if you talk to any disciplined fighter, martial artist, you will hear that they have the tools in the tool chest. They have the discipline to know when to use it, when not to, and it's very interesting if you have the conversation with probably 90. There's some crazy motherfuckers out there, but 90% of the people who are trained do not use that unless they're provoked. And it's absolutely the last resort.
Well, because you see what it does to people.
Right, and they have strategies in place to avoid that.
Like, you've seen people snoring. Like, that's scary.
I've done
like,
it.
Choke somebody out
The
and they're
last
snoring.
the last time that happened in a parking lot, I was in the back of a cop car handcuffed, as deserved, because I stayed there and hung around. And I was so concerned with that person wasn't going to wake up, because immediately I become
in prison.
Immediately, well, I went to jail anyways, but immediately I realized, if they don't wake up, my life is over.
Yeah, you go
And
to
so
prison.
I asked the police officer when I was sitting in the back handcuffed like this, I said, is he awake yet? And he said, he's just now waking up. It was probably, I think it was like 13 minutes or something.
Jeez.
I was so fucking
damage.
scared. And he looked back and he started laughing. He's like, I've never had anyone ask me if he's okay. And I said, well, I genuinely, he did not wake up. And I went into this establishment. You came and got me. I came outside. He was still asleep. I thought I killed him, and all I could think of is my life's over.
Yep.
And he was like, well, yeah, you're going to jail. I was like, yeah, no shit. But also, at least I didn't kill him.
Right. Now,
so I could get out in a couple of days, hopefully, or whatever.
On a whole nother pivot, being that you guys are, I don't know, we're running long on time.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up like ASAP,
So
yeah.
if you haven't investigated the High Rocks thing, remember I told you about Les? So
Yes,
he's
yes.
really, he stopped doing CrossFit and got into High Rocks and absolutely loves it.
All right, I got to look into
It's an endurance type.
Okay.
To where it removes a lot of the skillful Olympic lifting per
Yeah.
se, but still has the ski erg, the sled type
Okay.
stuff where you get in good shape without grinding your joints to death. So that's one of the ones I was going to put on your radar. I don't know how you spell it, but apparently
I'll look it
it's
up.
an endurance thing.
I'll look it
that
up.
I was going to talk to you, and your wife may like it because I mean she does pretty good in the CrossFit stuff. Maybe just as something else, and especially I've been thinking about more endurance for myself.
Well, we got to get you up to a session with us.
Sure.
And
When it gets cooler, I ain't doing it as hot.
it's cooler already. What are you talking about? In return,
this
I will
morning.
come do whatever you want me to do.
Okay.
That's the deal.
Oh man, we ain't got to make a deal.
No, we're making a deal.
I'd rather
making
go
a
work
deal.
out with Nate
We're
than
making a
these
deal.
guys any day.
No, he's going to work out with. You're coming too.
So what I'll
We're
do?
taking on it?
What I'll do is.
Oh yeah, I'll
I
go
always
if
peer pressure
Nate's
everything.
coming. But I'm telling you, I'll go work out with him 6 days a week. I'm not going to work out with y'all 6 days a week.
This
Don't
see he comes off easy now because he has state of the art equipment to use. But this motherfucker
Don't listen to him.
used to be the talk of the fucking neighborhood group because he would be the one.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah, you were insane.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to every podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I produce them. I get it. But the shit he's talking about nowadays, it's not that it's not hard,
No, it's not.
but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Rather than the shit y'all are doing is fucking crazy.
Yeah, but we're dialing in.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what would be cool. You know what would be cool is we can do all of the above, so it can accommodate any skill level, and you can push as hard as you want or you don't. Everybody still finishes at the exact same time.
Yeah.
You can either be pukey or you could be mildly uncomfortable and you feel great, but each thing will be tailored in a way to where you definitely will leave for whatever you came for.
Yeah.
That's the cool part.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap it on that, dude. There's so much more shit we got to talk about. You're going to be back here the first year. You're always the first podcast of the year. But I think we're going to squeeze one. If you have time, I want to squeeze another one back in before the end of the year.
Okay.
Shout out to episode 200. We've been doing this now. This would be
Bicentennial.
This is, dude. We're 5 years in.
Fire the muskets.
5 years.
Wait, hold on, dude. 10 minutes later. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're 5 years in, dude.
That's
5
wild.
years. And I think to this day, you've been the biggest guest on this podcast. And I just want to thank you, sir.
Man, I appreciate
thank you for
you
your
having
kind
me.
words. Thank you for your time, and also thanks to everybody listening. Thanks to Josh for jumping in here and fucking taking the reins, and we've taken this thing to another level. But man, I'm excited. I'm ready for 200 more episodes, and dude, I'm just happy, man. I appreciate it.
I can tell he's got his
Curtis Jackson, get on the podcast.
Yeah,
I can tell he got his test dialed in now because he almost started crying. But had his test been low, he would have started
I
crying.
would started crying. We'll talk about that. Shout out Core Medical.
There
Core Medical
That's a
Group.
wrap. There's a wrap.
There it is.